Hey friends, Ash here. Hope that you're doing well. Today we're doing something that's become a little bit of a tradition on the channel, going over the Fragrantica Reader's Choice Awards for the best fragrances of the year. So we're going to be going over some of the different categories, specifically men's fragrances, taking a look at what's in the lead right now. As of when I'm shooting this video, there's about a week to go until the awards are done. Don't know when the video is going to go live, but as of right now, that's where everything is at. And we're just going to take a look at everything and kind of wrap on it and see how it looks, how it's shaken out. So if you're unaware of what Fragrantica is for any reason, it's the largest fragrance compilation database type vibe thing where you go and rate fragrances and review them. It can be a little hit or miss. The website is inundated with ads at this point, so when you try to pull it up, if you don't have an ad blocker, it can just get kind of out of control. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's a little love it or hate it as far as the site goes, but a lot of people use it, and they do run this annual award thing where basically you have a bunch of categories, and if you're a Fragrantica user, you can go on there and vote for whatever you want for these categories, and eventually you get winners. So we're gonna be taking a look at best men's fragrance, best unisex fragrance, women's favorite men's fragrance, and a number of other categories as well, like best manly man fragrance. You wanna know what that is, right? For sure. I have linked in the description the Fragrantica Community Awards, so if you want to jump over there, check everything out after the video, feel free to do so. It's linked down below. First category we're going to look at is a doozy, Best Men's Fragrance 2024. So essentially this would be your fragrance of the year. Like if these were the Oscars, this would be Best Picture of the Year, right? Best Men's Fragrance. And right away, what jumps out to me is the fragrance that's winning is Parfums Marley's ALTHAIR, and that came out in 2023. So this is a consistent issue with the Fragrantica Awards. They'll put a category out that looks pretty specifically like it should be for things released in that year, best fragrance of 2024, but then you can actually just go and vote for stuff from 2023. So, yeah. In the past, it was a lot worse, because in the past, they wouldn't really put like a time limit, or a time frame rather, on the fragrances that you could vote for. So it would be like best fragrance of the year, and you could vote for something that came out like 6 years ago. A little bit of an issue there, right? Now they've kind of changed it to where you can vote for things from this year or last year, but again, why? When I did my video for my 10 favorite designer releases of the year, I didn't include fragrances from last year also, right? But yeah, as of this video, Parfums de Marly ALTHAIR is in first place. In second place is Le Male Elixir, also came out last year. And in third place, L'Homme Ideal Parfum from Guerlain, which that one came out this year, so that's good. And when you work down through the top 10 here, number 4, Oud Maracuja, came out last year. Acqua di Gio Parfum came out last year. Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense came out last year. Pacific Chill came out last year. The next fragrance that they have from 2024 in the top 10, which is I think the only other fragrance from 2024 in the top 10, Boss Bottled Absolute. So, bit of a mess right off the top here. I, of course, already did my video of top 10 best designer fragrances of the year, in my opinion, my favorite one. So you can check that video out if you want to see what my top 10 is. That one, though, doesn't have any niche in it. That's just designer fragrances only for that one. And when I look down through here, I mean, fragrances that were really good from this year are ranked high, relative to other fragrances released in the year. L'Homme Ideal Parfum, really good release. Boss Bottled Absolute, really good release. Le Beau Paradise Garden is up there. The new Armani Code Eau de Parfum is up there. These are all really solid scents. So yeah. Now, one thing I do want to say here, which is kind of obvious, but just because it's ranked very highly in the Fragrantica Reader's Choice Awards doesn't necessarily translate directly into what's most popular in terms of actual sales. Because if we're talking about that style of success, right, L'Homme Ideal Parfum is going to be lower than a lot of fragrances that are ranked below it here, because it doesn't sell as much. Still an amazing fragrance, but that's just kind of how it is. So, it's obvious, I guess, but I still wanted to point that out. So there's best men's fragrances. Let me know what you think about that line up there for 2024. And when we check best unisex fragrances 2024, kind of the same thing going on here. What's in first place currently is actually Camrock Hawa from Lattafa, which came out last year. And I don't mean to like beat them up too much on this or anything, but it does feel like something that should be changed, right? Like you can't realistically say these are the 2024 awards, but all the winners are from 2023, right? Because then does the same thing happen again next year? Like 2025, all the winners are gonna be 2024 and we just keep on doing this forever? Is that the plan? But yeah, Kamra Kawa is in first place. That one is a fragrance that is basically Kamra, go figure, with a coffee twist. Really sweet, warm, inexpensive, compliment puller, very versatile. I'm a little bit surprised to see it up there because I could imagine, you know, most all the other fragrances that are in the unisex category are gonna be niche fragrances. I would imagine a lot of people are not pleased about having a Lattafa above those niche fragrances. Because in second place there, ALTHAIR 2023, Tobacco Honey in third place, 2023. Fourth place, Le Papier, Diptyque 2023. And looking through the top 10, you have to get down to, what is it, 3, 6, 7, 8th place before you even have a fragrance from 2024, which is Old Fashioned from By Kilian. But let's move on to the more interesting categories, such as women's favorite men's fragrance. And this isn't one where you have to, you know, be from 2023 or 2024. It can be anything. And it says right here, this is the women's favorite men's fragrance category. Please note that only women can vote here. Feel free to explore the fragrances. That's how it's written. I didn't read that incorrectly. Please note that only women can vote here. Only woman is vote for fragrance. And this one I find really interesting because if in your profile you mark yourself as a man, it won't let you vote here. And yet the option that is winning, I just find a little questionable. The fragrance that's winning is Dior Homme Intense. Now, I love Dior Homme Intense. I think it's one of the best things ever made. I think it smells fantastic. Classy, sexy, decadent iris with this like creamy sweetness. Very, very mysterious. Like I said, classy. Just so many things you could say about it, right? But one thing that I would probably not say about Dior Homme Intense is that it is the biggest, easiest compliment getting fragrance ever. The fragrance that above all others in existence, women find to be irresistible. Which is where I'm like, are there dudes going in and changing their profile to say they're a woman so they can vote for this, and then they change it back and they're like, I got him. I don't know, but it's possible. So yeah, it's just a little questionable for me. Dior Homme Intense is not a massively popular fragrance as far as sales goes. In the US, they don't even carry it at retailers. That's how successful it's been. To drive home once more, I love the stuff. I'm just talking about overall popularity, where if you're gonna point out this is women's favorite fragrance for men, if it's one that's not even for sale and you have to buy it from discounters in the US, and guys, I know the US is not the world, I understand that completely, but if we're honest with each other, we know Dior Homme Intense, while top notch, 10 out of 10, maybe not the biggest of all time. Number 2 is Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. Maybe see that one a little bit more so. Number 3 is Tobacco Vanille. Number 4 is Terre d'Hermès, which that one is also, that's sus. Very suspect. I think Terre d'Hermès, a modern classic, masterpiece, but women's favorite men's fragrance of all time. I'm not saying it can't be a compliment puller, just like Dior Homme Intense. I'm not saying it's not out of the realm of possibility that there are people that absolutely fall head over heels for those, right? But if we're talking contemporary stuff that's like really doing it right now. Number 5, Jazz Club. Number 6, Stronger With You Intensely. Number 7, Altair. 8, Aqua de Jo. 9, Ventus, and 10, Tom Ford Noir Extreme. And then if you scroll down through, a lot of hits, just a lot of hits. And even the ones that are up there that maybe I would say, I think probably there'd be better options are hit fragrances in a lot of ways, right? Yeah, it's kind of a murderer's row of scents through there. Best manly man fragrance since 2020. Let's check that out. The number 1, Sauvage Elixir, 2021. Can't argue that. That is probably the one that I agree with most out of the ones that I've seen so far. And some of those are just because of like the year release, right? 2023, 2024, that whole thing. But this is since 2020. Sauvage Elixir fits. I do find it to be like a really classically masculine fragrance done in a modern way. It's strong, it's got good longevity, it's woody, spicy, kind of a throwback feel to it. Yeah, that's, I would go for that, yeah. And then in second place is Le Male Parfum. So this is another one that I think is a killer fragrance. I love this stuff. But if somebody were to come up to me and they had that fragrance in their hand and they went, hey dude, would you say this is probably the manliest fragrance that's come out in the last 4 years or so? I don't think I would say yes. A little powdery iris in there, still really sexy, and it is a compliment puller. And I guess to be fair, depending on how you approach it, you know, it could be a manly man fragrance for sure. It's just when I'm thinking manly man, I'm thinking something that's like really powerful, bold, like I said, probably woodsy, spicy, that kind of thing. Still an amazing scent though. And number 3 is another iris fragrance, Gentleman Reserve Privé. So I guess if Le Male de Parfum is manly, then that's even more manly, I would say. Dior Homme 2020 in 4th, Terre d'Hermès Eau Givre in 5th, because nothing screams manly man like citrus. Like a lot of citrus. Number 6 is Ombre Leather Parfum. 7 is Imagination. Boss Bottled Elixir in 8th, which I would bump up versus a lot of these other ones here. Aqua de Joe Parfum in 9th, and Dior Homme Sport in 10th. You give power to the people, and this is what happens. I'm just playing. Best men's fragrance of all time. We gotta know. And it's Dior Homme Intense. What a surprise. The fragrance that women say is the best men's fragrance ever is also the best men's fragrance ever. And number 2 is Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. Wow, the same one in the, yeah, women's. Then there's also Terre d'Hermès up there in 3rd place, and a lot of familiar faces through here. Aventus, Le Male de Parfum, Layton, etc. I think, I could be misremembering, but I think just about every time Fragrantica runs one of these community choice awards things at the end of the year, that Dior Homme Intense wins, like everything, as far as best men's fragrance goes. Which, I love this stuff. Like I've said 100,000 times, I'm just really driving that home. I love the stuff, but sometimes I'm like, what's going on here? And since we're talking iris, we're talking Dior Homme Intense, they have best iris since 2020, and it's Reserve Privé. It beats out Le Male de Parfum, it beats out Dior Homme Original 2021, beats out Valentino Uomo Intense 2021, and I'm okay with this. This is a good one. I feel like there's a lot of fantastic iris fragrances out there. I'm a big fan of the note. Le Male de Parfum is a really good scent, but it's not as iris forward as Reserve Privé, at least not for me. So if I were gonna pick one of those two, like which one is the better iris fragrance, I'd say Reserve Privé. And Dior Homme Original, also killer, but I mean, it's basically Dior Homme, right? So it's almost cheating, you know, to put that in there because it really didn't come out in 2021. It came out before then, they just changed the name. There's some other good ones here as well, like some of the other gentleman fragrances, Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Parfum, but yeah, I think you gotta go Reserve Privé. So that's another one where I think that's a really good one. That's a good pick, And then I hate this fragrance. The winner for I hate this fragrance as of now, but it looks like it's running away with it, is the new Dior Sauvage. And yeah, I saw that coming. Just the level of expectations that are out there when you come out with a new fragrance in a line that's that big are very high, you know, high expectations. And with the new perfumer taking over, wanting to put their stamp on everything, and with that perfumer being Francis Kirkshon, brings a lot of eyeballs to the fragrance. And when it comes out, it's basically $200. And then the stuff is a milky, alcohol-free formulation that leaves your skin a little bit sticky, that has subpar projection, that goes for just kind of like a safe kind of blah sort of scent profile for a lot of people. Yeah, it's probably not gonna get a ton of love at the end of the year in these awards things, huh? And then number 2 is Baccarat Rouge 540. I think the big reason for that is it's everywhere. You can't go, 2 feet without smelling Baccarat Rouge 540. And there's 5 billion different alternatives to it out there. Just that scent profile is just a little overdone. And 3rd place, Herba Pura from Xerjoff, which is one that, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of. It's just very fruity, sweet, a little obnoxious sometimes. So those 3, I could see that coming from a mile away. There's a lot of other categories on here. There's most boring fragrance of the year, best tobacco fragrance, lost in the amber woods, best fragrance marketing, just a lot of stuff. Let me know what you guys think about how everything is shaking out right now as far as these awards. And actually, by the time this video goes live, it may be over already. So between now and then, who knows? Maybe things get shook up a little bit. Just for the record, if Le Male Elixir came out this year, or ALTHAIR, I could see it being potentially the fragrance of the year. So that's not the issue here. I'm not saying like, oh, that stuff sucks. Like you shouldn't have voted for it. It's just, it shouldn't count because it came out last year. But I will say that on the women's favorite men's fragrances, I am suspicious. I know they tried to make it where only women could vote for that, but if all I have to do is go in there and say, I'm actually a woman, can I vote for this? And they go, oh yeah, come right in, go ahead. And yeah, subterfuge, skullduggery. All right guys, there they are, the annual awards. A lot of banging fragrances. The ones that I told you guys that are in first place, even if maybe I think there's something that should have been in there instead of it, are absolutely winners. None of that stuff sucks. None of it's like, oh, this is trash. How is it there? Like, I completely understand why it's there. And if you're hanging with me here until the end, how about a giveaway? Just a couple of things that I have hanging around the collection that I have no need for. CARLISLE Chiaka Silver, Armauve Odyssey Oud. Still sealed, don't need them. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, just be subscribed to the channel, like the video, leave a comment below. And in that comment, let me know what was your fragrance of 2024. It can be designer, niche, indie, clone, I don't care. Just make sure it's from 2024. Give me a little bit, I'll post the winner of this along with the winner of the mini giveaways I've been running through the month. And once that's up there, if you're the winner, just hit me up and I'll ship it out to you. I'll post the winner on the community tab. Forgot to say that. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.